Well, he was considered the founder of Oak Harbor. He wasn't the founding father because he came after the plot had already been done. But if he hadn't come and he hadn't pushed everything, farming-wise and agriculture-wise and industry-wise, we wouldn't be here. This town would have had died. So he is the father of Oak Harbor. Okay, Frank? He and I always fought over that. So I'll give him his due. Without Adolphus, you wouldn't have had Oak Harbor. More than likely, because of the history and everything we read, Rocky Ridge probably would have been the town. But Rocky Ridge had 2 devastating fires and never recovered, so Oak Harbor just kept on growing.
Largely because of him, we have 2 railroads that go through Oak Harbor. If you look on the map, the railroad that goes through the center of town, it goes from Fremont to Toledo. It'd have been a lot shorter to miss Oak Harbor, to go straight, but Adolphus petitioned to get it to come up through Oak Harbor and then turn and go the other way. Likewise, what we call the Lake Shore in Michigan Southern, the one out on the north,
My train.
it's farther south than it originally was designed to be.
He couldn't get it to go through Oak Harbor, but he got it within a mile at that time of Oak Harbor, which was
And that
good.
one,
At one point they tried to have the main part of Oak Harbor on
out
there.
there was hotels and stores out there too at one point. They were kind of thing together.
Well, they burned. They burned down.
Yeah.
We've talked a little bit about this stone. It's obviously not similar to the other ones that are back here. So we're pretty sure that it is not the original Adolphus stone. And John Crosser, talk a little bit about this one.
Well, one of the things, and this time in 1882, when Mrs. Kraemer passed away, this stone's made out of granite, which isn't indigenous to this area at all, but sandstone is. And so if you look around, a lot of these are sandstone, some are marble. Marble was cheaper, but it was more available. But granite was expensive. And so you had to have a few coins before you could have somebody, bring granite and set it to you, because it was toward the higher end. Thinking and talking with John and Dick over the years, we think that this was probably put up after he passed away. One of the things you can tell is that there was not, Mrs. Kraemer died first in 1882 and Adolphus died in 1885, but the dates were cut at the same time. So there probably wasn't anything for Mrs. Kraemer, and more than likely, like Dick had mentioned to me earlier,
J.H. Kraemer was one of their sons. They had like 11 children, but one was fairly wealthy and well-to-do. He was judge. Ended up going out to Los Angeles where he died. He's not buried in this cemetery. And then J.H.'s son, D. Wilton Kraemer, ran the Exponent for 50 years. Was the editor of the Exponent. So the family, I think, through J.H. had some money. And my guess is it probably was James H. Kramer's family that put that up sometime late 1800s.
Yeah, I would think that's right, or maybe even early 1900. But like Connie had said too, this log and the open Bible on top is pretty still indicative of the Victorian era. And that was not unusual for that time frame.
Frank always felt that Adolphus was not recognized. There is no street named Kraemer or Adolphus Street. There's no recognition of him, and Frank, that became his mission to get something in the name of Adolphus.
Park.
And that's what the park, the Town Hall Park, became that.
Well, an interesting thing with him too is he donated land where all the churches in town are, with the exception of the Methodist Church, because that was newer. The original Methodist Church, that was all donated by Kraemer. Where the courthouse is, oh wait, it's not there. The junior high is. Where the courthouse was supposed to be was donated by him. So, yeah, he was definitely. I mean, he had a lot of influence in the beginning of the village.
It was strange. He never ran for political office, but he had a lot of influence. A lot of influence on what happened.
Where was his house, John?
The first house was on the end of Brooklyn Street along the river, in a log house next to a general store that he had. And then possibly where Heidi's lived, on north or southeast corner of Water and Erie Street. And then the family itself moved to a very nice two-story Victorian that was remodeled into the green apartment house, the green square apartment house that was torn down for McDonald's. And it was a shame that they tore it down, but that green apartment house,
It needed to go.
yeah.
Well, it didn't look at all like the original house.
No.
I mean, if you look at the original house, and it is in the book that John and I and Frank did on Oak Harbor. We've got the two pictures in there, and you cannot believe that they're the same building.